school together. Okay? I remember when I was a child, and that would have been in the 60s and 70s, when I was sick, when Mom took our temperature, it was barbaric.
It's torture.
You know, my mother's way of finding out how bad our sore throat was to stick metal with mercury inside in our mouth. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, and you'd get the same thermometer that your brother or sister just had. You're like, great, well, if I wasn't sick, I'm sick now.
Yeah, exactly. I want to reintroduce you to a buddy in just a second. This is VisioFocus. This is a miniaturized new version of a thermometer that's remarkably accurate. This is Dr. Mark Legere. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Good to see you again, Dan.
Hey, you're a doctor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we don't use leeches anymore.
You actually do.
We do?
You actually use leeches.
No.
Amputations. Helps get the blood back.
I didn't know. That completely disrailed my metaphor I was about to use in your defense.
Sorry to crush you.
Okay. Instead of using mercury thermometers, oral or rectal, this uses a new form of infrared. And the old infrared thermometers, I still had to lay it directly on your skin.
Right.
Whether it be lay it on your forehead or what have you. This, you can actually take it from a distance so that if it's a toddler sleeping, if you have a baby that's not feeling well, the one who wakes up the baby is now the enemy.
Oh, right, because it's your job to get the baby back to sleep who's sick. Yeah, and you also run the risk of contamination.
Yep.
You know, like we touched on earlier, you know, if you're taking a thermometer from one child and then you're maybe rinse it off a little bit, I mean, are you really sanitizing that thermometer with running it under the water? And you might be actually contaminating a perfectly healthy person.
I'm telling you, I'm sure it happened in our, because all 5 of us kids in the house all seem to get sick at the same time.
At the same time. So with the VisioFocus, like you touched on, Dan, is it's no touch.
Okay.
Right, so that's a big leap in the world of thermometers. But here's the next thing is there are other no-touch thermometers, but how accurate are they? And that's where it really gets different.
This is actually an FDA-cleared medical device, which is really cool.
Right.
So we're going to do some demonstrations. And there's a reason why we have a foot out here. You and I had a conversation that I had never even thought of, because it's not something I have to deal with.
It's people suffering from diabetes.
They need to know the temperature of their feet.
That's right, because blood supply. So if there's not a lot of blood, actually the foot gets cold. And if the foot's cold, you're at risk of big injuries, right? You're bleeding and ulcers.
I don't even know how you use a regular thermometer to measure the temperature of your feet.
You wouldn't. It would just be a guessing game. So, right, you have your traditional thermometers where you have to touch it, but with the VisioFocus, what you're going to do is you're going to press the button, and then you're going to come up and it's going to get a temperature. Now you're going to see 2 dots here. Now
what are the 2 dots?
The 2 dots make sure that you have the VisioFocus at the proper distance from what you're taking.
And that's on the left-hand and right-hand side of the numbers.
And now look, here's the other cool part about it is when you let the temperature go, you can pull it away from whatever it is that you're reading from.
Without reading glasses, I can read. I got to tell you, even with reading glasses when I was young, nobody can read a thermometer.
That's right. And again, for you, if you were to do a temperature of a grandchild and I were to do the same, how do we know that the temperatures are accurate? You might hold it one distance, I might hold it another distance, but because the dots are going to tell you exactly where to hold it, how far away, you let it go, and then the temperature gets big. And for reading the temperature at night, like you said, you don't have to turn on the light, you don't have to leave the room.
This isn't just the thermometer when somebody is not feeling well, because this will measure from about 33 degrees all the way up to 176 degrees Fahrenheit. So new mommies, let me tell you, you measure the temperature of the milk when you pull it out of the microwave before you put it in the bottle. You know, there's so many different ways to use. I'm curious.
Well, you look at the bathtub.
What's my? See, I wouldn't
have
thought
thought
of that.
You look at the bathtub, and that's why there's different settings. You have one here. It's a little smiley face. That's the one for you're going to measure it on your forehead.
Okay.
But then you have all these other household items that you might want to check, like you talked about, like the baby's milk. How about the bathtub?
How hot is that radiator?
Exactly. What about your cup of coffee?
What
about this soup? What about things that are around the house? If you might enjoy a nice glass of chilled wine. You can put it on the chilled wine, and then you can save it. So it has a little memory function, so you can check the patient over and over and see, is the temperature going up or is the temperature going down?
So I'm just curious, what's my, you got a wide range of
let's check it out.
Forehead here.
So again, we're going to hold it out.
Now this is what's weird. I'm not seeing anything at all, so there's nothing.
All right. So right now, we're going to, hold on a sec, we're going to recalibrate it. There you go. So you're about 84.4.
What is normal?
So you want to have it somewhere around like the 96. So it might be just with the cool air coming in the studio that's a little bit lower, but
I've usually been subpar on most average scales.
With regards to what?
Well, everything. Yeah. Lightweight.
Yep.
Normal batteries, do I have to get weird, funky batteries on this
normal
thing,
batteries, you can look it up. So it's going to use just AAA batteries. They pop right in the back, but they're going to. This is going to last you years. I mean, with a sick house, it's still going to last you a very long time. Come on, put it in.
This is technology in the palm of our hand that 10 years ago didn't exist.
Yeah. And the big thing to me, because I have 3 little children, Jack, Lucy, and Ben.
Right.
And when they're sick, when it's cold and flu season, the last thing I want to do is have to take a sick child and wake them up.
Right.
I don't want to have to turn on the lights. Right. I can take their temperature. I can let them get that quality sleep.
Put this under your tongue for 2 minutes.
Yeah, no thanks. Or it could be worse
or
for my
worse.
little guy.
Oh, yeah.
But it allows for them to get that sleep. It allows you to get that accurate
By the way,
reading.
where did you find that curly-headed little? That is the cutest child I've ever seen.
It reminds me of the kid Mikey from
the
Life cereal from back in the day.
He'll eat anything,
He will. Yeah, so there it is. I mean, you can use it in the bathtub. The last thing you'd want to do is to put your child into water that's too hot or too cold. I mean, you start to know with this memory feature, okay, my son likes it at 98 degrees, I'm going to keep it at that. But again, you allow the person that you're caring for to rest. You're not having to wake them up. If they're asleep on the couch, you can let them stay asleep on the couch. And look, you can even take your own temperature. So in that regards, it says use a mirror. Use those 2 little dots again to make sure that it's the proper distance, and then when you're done, you can just shine it on the countertop. Right, so I'm going to take a guess here. If I had a mirror, you tell me.
I'll help you. I'll help you. The dots are there.
Okay, so.
Not yet. Keep coming. It's too close, I think. I'm not seeing dots yet.
All right, there you go. Let's try this.
Yeah, right there. Hold it right there.
And I can let it go, and I can zoom it out.
92.3.
I can also then put it on the countertop, 92.3.
Your head temperature is also a good FM radio station.
92.3.
Yeah.
The jazz.
Every family needs this. It's an FDA-cleared medical device, and I've got a clearance sale price at less than $30. How amazing is that technology that didn't exist just a few years ago is now available for a reasonable price tag? Regular glass thermometers with mercury in them are antiquated.
They're dangerous. They're inaccurate.
They're invasive.
I mean, you're running the risk. I mean, I hate to use the term perforation, but you're going to guess what that's for with your little one. And you don't run that risk with us. No touch, no cross-contamination. Good to go.
Doctor, thank you.
My pleasure, as always.
Mark, it is always a pleasure.
All right.